There was once a young man named Ryan who felt trapped in his own sadness. No matter what he did, nothing seemed to go right in his life. He was without a job, and the pressure from his family to figure out his future was overwhelming. His mind was always filled with worry and doubt. Ryan often found himself consumed by feelings of hopelessness, believing that nothing would ever improve. It seemed like every little thing went wrong, and he couldn't see a way out of his struggles. One afternoon, feeling particularly low, Ryan decided to visit a small cafe in his town to try and relax for a while. He ordered a cup of tea and sat in a quiet corner, trying to collect his thoughts. The cafe was peaceful, but his mind was far from calm. He couldn't shake the feeling that life was closing in on him. At a nearby table, a group of older men were talking quietly among themselves. Though Ryan wasn't eavesdropping on purpose, their voices were clear enough for him to catch snippets of their conversation. One of the men said, "Have you heard of the old man who lives behind the hills? He seems like just another ordinary person, but he's filled with wisdom. My son was struggling with so many things, and after spending some time with that old man, he changed completely." Another man added, "Yes, people say that just talking to him can lift your spirits and change the way you look at things." Ryan's ears perked up at this. He thought to himself, maybe if he can help someone else, maybe he can help me too. My life feels like it's falling apart, and I need some guidance. If he really does have some wisdom, maybe it can help me find some peace. So, with a small spark of hope, Ryan decided that he would seek out the old man. He didn't know exactly what to expect, but he was desperate for a change in perspective. Ryan walked toward the hills, where the old man was said to live. The journey was long, and the path wasn't easy, but his determination kept him going. Eventually, he reached a small, humble house. He knocked on the door, and the old man greeted him warmly. "I've been carrying so much pain in my life," Ryan said as he stepped inside. "I don't know what to do anymore. Everything feels so hard, and I can't find a way to be happy. Please, can you tell me how I can be happy?" The old man listened to Ryan's words quietly. There was no judgment in his eyes, only patience and understanding. But instead of answering right away, the old man stood up and walked away without saying a word. Ryan was confused, but decided to wait. A few minutes later, the old man returned, holding a glass of water in one hand and a small bowl filled with salt in the other. He handed the bowl to Ryan and said, "Take a handful of salt from this bowl, put it into the glass, and then drink the water." Ryan was puzzled. "What do you mean? How is this going to help me?" he thought. But despite his confusion, he did as the old man asked. He took a handful of salt, poured it into the glass of water, and then hesitantly took a sip. Instantly, his face scrunched up in disgust. The water tasted awful. It was salty and bitter. The old man asked, "How does it taste?" Ryan grimaced and replied, "It tastes terrible. All I can taste is the salt." The old man nodded, but said nothing. "Now, take another handful of salt and follow me," he instructed. Ryan, though still uncertain, followed the old man to a nearby lake. They stood at the edge of the water, and the old man told Ryan to throw the salt into the lake. Ryan did as he was told, tossing the salt into the water. Afterward, the old man turned to him and said, "Now, take a sip of the water from the lake." Ryan bent down, cupped some water in his hands, and drank. To his surprise, the water tasted completely fine. It was fresh and clean, with no trace of the salt he had just thrown in. He looked up at the old man, confused. The old man smiled, placed a hand on Ryan's shoulder, and explained, "Ryan, life's pain is like the salt. It doesn't change in quantity. It's always there, but how much of it we feel depends on the size of our hearts. If your heart is small, like that glass, even a small amount of pain will make you feel bitter. But if your heart is vast, like the lake, even large amounts of pain won't overwhelm you," he continued. "The glass and the lake are symbols of patience. If your patience is small, then even the smallest problem will seem huge. But if your patience is vast, like the lake, then even the biggest problems won't break you." We all face problems in life, Ryan. No one is exempt from pain. It is a part of life, just like happiness is. Without sadness, we wouldn't know what happiness is. Without challenges, we wouldn't learn life's valuable lessons. The old man paused and looked at Ryan with kind eyes. "If you keep focusing only on your problems, life will always feel full of pain. Just like a little salt can make a whole glass of water bitter, a small heart will make even small problems feel unbearable. But if you grow your heart, expand your patience, and learn to see the bigger picture, you will find that even the hardest times won't have the same weight. Don't become small like the glass when you face life's troubles. Become like the lake. Only then will you find peace and happiness." The lesson from this story is clear. Our hearts and patience are what determine how we experience the pain and challenges in life. A small heart leads to feeling overwhelmed by even minor problems, while a big heart, one full of patience and resilience, helps us handle even the hardest moments with ease.